So today we're going to learn a little bit about matrices. A matrice or a matrix is just a rectangular array or arrangement of numbers. What we need to know about them is that, first of all, you can see them. They're just a rectangle thing of numbers. Computers use these a lot. And one thing we can talk about real quick is that there's rows and columns in these things. And just so you know, remember, rows go left and right, and columns go up and down. So when you look at this, what we call matrix A right here, it has 3 rows and 2 columns, so we would call that a 3 by 2 matrix. Matrix B is a 1 row by 3 columns, and matrix C is a 2 by 2. Can we name that by the rows and then the columns each time? Rows, columns, rows, columns. The size of the matrix is important. Furthermore, each individual number in each matrix is called an element. Alright, so it turns out we can just do normal math with these things like adding and subtracting. So the first thing you want to check is to make sure that they have the same dimensions as in rows and columns. So as we look at these, this is a 2 by 2 and that's a 2 by 2. So we're allowed to proceed with whatever kind of math we want to do. Alright, so I've got our matrices ready to go. So one important thing is to understand when you're doing matrix math to know what you're about to get and get your answer set up with your brackets there. So now to add these, all I do is add the values or the elements that are in the same spot. So this upper left number is going to add with this upper left number to get us 5. The upper right number is going to add with the upper right number, so -1 plus 0 is -1, and so on. 5 plus -3 is 2. 6 plus -4 is +2. And we're done with that problem. We can go do subtraction, just be careful with it. Obviously you can pull out a calculator to help you with any of this, and just do the individual numbers. So again, I'm looking at 3 minus 2 would be 1. -1 minus 0 would be -1. 5 minus -3 would be 8. And 6 minus -4 would be 10. That's all there is to those. It's important to understand that with adding and subtracting, if you start with a 2 by 2 and a 2 by 2, you're going to get a 2 by 2 as the answer. The answer is the same size or dimensions as the original matrices. Multiplication is actually, there's 2 kinds of multiplication. There's regular multiplication and there's scalar multiplication. Scalar multiplication is the easier of the two, so let's run through that. It's basically just the distributive property. We're just going to multiply each element by the scale factor, the scalar in front. So essentially, I'm just going to take, looking at this problem, I'm just going to take the number 3 and multiply it by 2. 3 times 6, 3 times -4, and so on. Keeping in mind that the original problem is a 3 by 2 matrix. So here we go. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 6 is 18. 3 times -4 is -12. 3 times 0 is 0. 3 times -2 is -6. And 3 times 5 is 15. And here we go. The second one says 4 times g. Well, so that's the number 4 times matrix G, which we have above. Now 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 0 is 0. 4 times -3 is -12. 4 times -4 is -16. And we're done. That's the basics of matrices.